Right, welcome back to the channel, ladies and gentlemen. I am going to be unveiling my new project. It is a 1965, 1 year only, Datsun Fairlady Roadster, 1500. It's a big project. I actually have already filmed some stuff, but the files have been corrupted. So I'm really angry about that. I set to take a look at what I've got footage-wise to do this intro and get ready for this video, but it's all corrupted. Don't know why, don't know how. Very, very annoyed. So here's some images of the car when I got it. So as you can see, not in the best of shapes. And here's some random videos of bits and pieces that I've already done. Alright guys, so I have begun the restoration of this car. I say restoration, don't know if you could call it a restoration, but I've begun part of it anyway. And let me show you what I've done and what we're going to be continuing with today. If I can get it open anyway. So I've already started it, and I did it because off camera because I wanted to check the quality of the metal underneath. But as you can see, we have ground down a lot of what would be the A pillar on the body, and with it revealed good metal and some bad metal. Now, I won't be correcting the bad metal yet. And the bad metal is, of course, down here. This is actually where the wing bolts to. And there's a little bit here. Now, I've got some galvanized steel, which I'm going to use to clear all that up, cut it out and weld in new stuff. But what we're going to do today is finish off this. So I'm going to get sanding, going to mask it all off, get sanding, and then clear up this metal all the way down through into here. Going to clean up all of this. Again, just kind of see what we're working with metal-wise, really. And then from there, we will paint it, well, rust convert it, and then we'll paint it with a stone chip. So let's get going. So, because we're working with some quite nasty material on all of this, some paint and things like that, we're going to be using 100 grit, I think. Oh no, 60 grit, sorry. We're going to use 60 grit on this air sander, which I bought especially for this. And yeah, just going to get right to it. I've got a die grinder for the tough to reach places. And I've also got an air blower just for those bits that we need to blow off as well. Let's get going. Alright guys, I don't know whether that's even saved it, annoyingly. Memory card ran out of memory. Annoying. Alright guys, you can see I'm absolutely covered in crap. It's amazing, isn't it? You start doing these things, just the amount of crap just flies up, gets everywhere. Nightmare. Anyway, I'll show you what we got. So, here is the 2 coats of rust converter with epoxy primer. Overall, very happy with the condition of the chassis, or well, it's the shell actually, so it's not, or the body. What is it? It's body on frame, isn't it? So this is the body. Yeah, very, very happy with it. Overall, conditions really, really good. There were a few bits that I noticed, and you'll see that I've not stripped everything down here. So, reason being actually because a lot of this stuff is intact, and this is the original factory stuff. And if it's good and solid, there's not really much point stripping it off to replace it with more stuff. However, there was caught down here a whole bunch of rust, which is actually on the inside. So I knew that was there, so that's why I began stripping that there. So the floor has obviously all of that down in there, which, you know, isn't great, but I can replace that. It's not really a big deal. Replacing stuff like that doesn't actually faze me much anymore. And that was actually it, aside from, weirdly, just that little pinprick there. Not overly sure why, but yeah, one little pinprick, and that was it. The rest of it was, from what I could tell, all solid. So I'm just going to wait for this to dry a little bit more, and then we'll begin laying down the stone chip. Believe it or not, all of this is actually going to be covered again as well with Raptor. But I'm just kind of stripping this down just to see what I'm working with for now, and also just treat the rust, because there is some. I mean, there has been surface rust on this, you know, and you can tell that's why it's turned purple. There's surface. It's working. This is it working. So there is some flashing going on underneath this paint, and so the idea is to of course seal it, treat it, seal it, and make sure it doesn't get any worse, so I can keep this car for a while. You know, this isn't like, I'm not a professional restorer, am I? I'm doing this in my garden, but I'm going to do my best with what I've got. So, you know, overall, fairly happy. Yeah, I'm just going to wait for this to flash off, and then we'll begin doing the stone chip. But I'm excited. I'm looking forward to this project. Well, I am enjoying the project. The project has begun. So, be back in a minute when I've sprayed it all down. Alright, so we've done a fair amount now, actually. Got 2 coats of the Stone Guard paint on it. Some of it's a bit wet still, so disregard the sheen that it has to it. And also any unevenness, because that's going to be gone. Well, one, when it dries, it will level itself out a little bit. Crap on my face. I think it will level itself out a little bit. And we're going to have Raptor over the top anyway. But here's what we're working with. So, yeah, job well done. Pretty happy with that overall. Very, very happy with that, actually. That is nice, clean. Yeah, just looking nice and clean, and it's all protected. Done the rust converter. That's the main thing, the rust converter. That's what we really had to be cautious of, to make sure that all the flashing was sealed, protected, and done. I did notice this though, which was a bit odd. As you can see, just there. Looks like a bit of a split in the body. I need to look at this side to double check that it's just not a feature on the car. I don't think it is. No. So the weld has split over there, so we're going to have to weld that back up. That's not really a big deal. It's interesting though that that was there. I didn't notice it before, but that's okay. We can grind that back, weld all of that on. Just MIG weld it, just so it's nice and solid. I'm not too fussed about that. That doesn't faze me that much, to be honest. That's okay. So yeah, did notice that. Interesting that it's not the other side. The story behind this car, guys, is so bizarre. like someone really wanted to restore it, I think, because there's patches in here, patches down in there. You know, someone began trying to restore it and then they just never did. Odd. I wonder why. Maybe the frame, but I don't think so, because it looks like it lines up. The frame wouldn't line up if it was dodgy, so I don't know. Bit of an odd one. But all in all, happy with that. That'll just dry off now and cure over the next 24 hours. And then next we will have to do the other side. And that'll be next on the agenda, is doing this, seeing the state of the same parts down here. That looks like a new piece. Yeah, see, you can see all the bits where people have begun working on it. It's so odd. Anyway, yeah, that'll be next on the agenda. Doing all of this side here. Is that in? Just looking at stuff. No, it's not. Okay. So yeah, so we'll leave this here for now. I'll pick up the camera again when I begin doing this side. So we're going to work our way backwards, basically, I think. And we'll do all the bits that we need to do to get it wrapped aligned. So yeah, I'll pick up the camera again when it comes to doing this. Well, when it comes to doing this side anyway, or something else. I'm just going to slowly, over the period of time before I actually reveal the car to you, record a whole bunch of stuff. I still need to actually film the reveal video, don't I? God damn. Mad. Anyway, I'm going to bugger off now. I'll pick up the camera when it comes to doing more of this stuff. So I've done some stuff, and this is not the video I wanted to make, but here's where we're at right now with the car. Alright, so reason why I even started to do this video was because I need to put this car on some rollers, and I thought, brilliant, I will also record the intro and get this video out to you, because basically it going on rollers means, you know, I can move it around a little bit, do a little bit more work on it, and just get it nice and situated. But that has not exactly gone to plan, because of course I can't control files being corrupted and all of that stuff, annoyingly. So we're not, look, this is a really big project. This is a huge project. One I'm still not quite sure why I took on, but I thought, why not? It was too cheap not to. In fact, it was the only one for sale in the country, and it was the cheapest one for sale in the country. And so that's what we're working with. So from the footage that you've already seen, you can see that I have stripped all of this down both sides, and it was a pretty big state, both sides actually. In terms of just the paint, stripped it down to the bare metal. Then I rust converted it, which is also an epoxy primer, to seal it. Then I painted over it in stone chip paint, which is basically like an under sealer. And the reason why I did that was to check whether there's any rot on either side. Now I have found rot on one side, and I found some repairs on the other. So we're now at the stage where I'm going to start to do some repairs to the metalwork. It's not huge. The repairs are not massive. We've got a little bit down here. This one's pretty important though, because this is where the wing attaches. So that just needs to be cut out and redone. Hey Cece. This part, this dog, Jesus. This part needs to be cut out and redone here, not major. And then we also have a little piece down in here. And I think, if I remember rightly, that was it This dog, I don't think that was one. So it was 1, 2, I was a little bit up there as well. So 1, 2, I think that was right. 1, 2, 3, 4. So not major, nothing crazy. And this side was pretty good overall. This was the really good side, as you can see. And then the idea is to go from here and basically begin working our way backwards, grinding all the metal down, sealing it so it's protected, and getting it done. Slowly but steadily, we'll get there with this car. The rough idea to go with this car is to do an engine swap, an SR20 DET. That's the plan anyway. It's pretty rough. It's pretty rough. There were a lot of parts that came in the car. Some parts I'm going to reuse, some parts I'm not. I'm still torn between whether I make it, you know, as close to factory or not, but I don't think I'm going to be honest, because, you know, it's my car. I'm going to do an engine swap anyway. So as much as it's a 1 year only, a 1500, it's not really going to stay that way, to be honest, because one, it's just not really feasible with the parts that are available. And is it worthwhile doing that, and for the pain in the arse that it's going to be to try and find all the parts? Probably not. So yeah, the likelihood is we're not going to do that. I've got 2 wings upstairs that are sat there waiting for me to take a look at, see if I can fix. I've got this wing here, which is not a bad one. It's not great, it's not horrendous, but I also may have access to 2 new old stock wings. They're just very, very expensive, but they are also the wider arch one, which I think will be really cool if we could do that. So yeah, this is the car. Didn't come with an engine or a gearbox, hence why we're doing an engine swap. There's a chap who makes kits for this car called Spriso Motorsport. Spriso. He does these really quite cool kits that basically you weld on motor mounts. There's like a frame that you sort of hold in place. Just a really good thing for the SR20. And you don't need to do any extra bracing on this frame because it's a body on frame car. And the frame is X-braced from factory. So it's a really strong, I'm fairly certain it's X-braced if I remember rightly. So it's a very strong frame from factory. So the likelihood is there's not going to be any warping, basically, which is obviously, you know, a consideration when you're doing engine swaps. You need to make sure that the power that you're putting into the car, that the chassis can handle it effectively. But as you can see, this is the car. This is the new project. It does have a windscreen. That's upstairs, just waiting for me to source a new frame for it, because obviously the frame was pretty rotten. I do have doors. I've got the wings. I've got the bonnet. I've got everything for it, basically, aside from a roof, weather strips, engine and gearbox. And then everything else is basically going to be upgraded as I go along. I do have a dash. I've got a dash surround. I've got a lot of stuff. My main plan was actually to get this project started and then record and then release a whole video of the work, basically. But because I've got so many problems with the other cars that I've got, some issues getting them back and things like that, I thought, well, let's get this going now, because I am going to get started on this as we go along anyway. So I thought, well, we might as well start showing you basically the project as we go along. That bloody dog. So that's the car. That's the car. Next step, I don't know fully what my next step is going to be. I'm not 100% certain yet what I'm going to tackle next, whether it's going to be the engine bay, and so I've got this done and work backwards. I don't know. It may even be that we take the shell off, you know, off the frame. I need to do that at some point, so we might do that soon. I don't know. But yeah, there's lots of parts inside. A lot of this stuff I'm not keeping. That's why it's here. and there's a lot of the stuff which I wanted to keep is now upstairs where it's dry. So yes, it's a big project. I mean, it's a massive project, but it's one I'm personally really looking forward to tackling, and I'm sort of just breaking it down into little bits and pieces here and there to, you know, make it a bit more of a workable project, a bit more manageable. There really isn't that much rot on this car because it's a California import, and the story around this car is really quite strange. And I'll do a story video, one to fill time out because it's winter and I don't, you know, can't really work on cars outside in the winter that much. But also because it's a really interesting story. It's genuinely interesting, so it's definitely worthwhile covering. But I'm going to get this on rollers. You don't need to see that. But that's the new project, a Datsun Fairlady Roadster, or as I like to call her, the Road Turd, because she's a bit of a turd at the moment, and we're going to flush her down the toilet and make her good at one point, hopefully. So there you go, that's it. I'm sorry that this isn't the video I wanted to make, because all the footage is gone. Love that, that's brilliant. But it is what it is. Let's get her done. Like, comment, share, follow along. This is going to be a long project, a few years, I'm sure. But it should be good fun. So yeah, subscribe for more. Bye now.